Hey everybody, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar. Today I'm here with a quick lesson just to offer some relief to anybody who has ever been intimidated by this thing, or this thing over here. I recall the days of learning guitar for the first time and seeing things like that and just thinking there's no hope. You know, there's probably hundreds of scales as well, and I have to learn all these chords. This is just going to be way too much. So I kind of went back to my happy place and really worked on heavy metal riffs, you know, because I thought that was something I could handle, but I thought it was going to take a long time to learn all those chord shapes because I thought I had to. And I really wish a video like this existed back then because it would have really calmed me down a little bit and showed me that the path to getting there is not nearly as scary as it seems. So what I'm going to show you today is something that used to blow the minds of my students. A lot of them were like, there's no way I could learn 132 chords in less than a half hour. But it's true, you can actually learn it a lot faster than that. It depends how fast your fingers want to work for you. So if you look at a chart like this, yeah, it looks scary. That's 132 chords right there. But if you look from left to right, you'll notice that they're just different kinds of chords. So the first one's a major chord, the next one's a minor, then you have a sixth chord, then a seventh, a ninth, and so on as you go across. The reason this chart's so intimidating is because they do it in all the different keys. And let me show you a way around that that's gonna hopefully blow your mind. Let's say we take a chord shape that we're all used to. You know, when you first start playing guitar, a lot of people learn the basic open chord shapes. So a lot of people just know these ones really well. We're going to go with the E shape here. On the website, we refer to that as the fourth form. We'll talk about that in another video when we discuss the caged system. But check out this shape right here. Hopefully you could play the open E major chord like that. All I want you to do for today is to refret that chord using your ring, pinky, and middle finger. So it's going to look like this. All you have to do from there now is move up 3 frets and then bar across at the 3rd fret. So you're just doing a bar chord like that. I'm sure a lot of you have played this bar chord before. That is simply a major bar chord. Like I said on the website, we'd call that the 4th form major, but for today, just think of this as a major bar chord. And what you can think of now is if you played this here, it's G major. If you move it towards you by 1 fret, it's G sharp major. If you move it up another fret, it's A major. A sharp major, B, C, and so on. So if you think that way, you just learned 12 chords. I know some people might roll their eyes and be like, oh, that's not 12 different chords, but technically it really is. This is a major chord shape and you're playing it in 12 different keys. So if somebody said, hey, can you play an F major chord? Yeah, you just make the major shape and move it to the 1st fret. Keeping that in mind now, I want to go through all the variations that you see on this wild-looking chord chart, and I'm going to prove to you that you can do this pretty easily. So let's just stay at the 3rd fret for today, and we're going to keep this basic shape through most of this, and it's going to make it a lot easier to switch to different types of chords because you don't have to move very far, and it's easy to memorize. So I'm sure if you've done bar chords before, you know that if you take this shape and simply lift up your middle finger, you now have a minor bar chord. So this is G minor. Multiply that 12 times in the 12 different keys. Now total we have 24 chords. Isn't that crazy? Just off these 2 shapes. So far we have major and we have minor. Such an easy switch, just lifting up that middle finger like that. Okay, how do we do a 6th chord? This is kind of fun. All we're going to do is we're going to move a few fingers over. So we're going to add this note, which is E, to the chord. We are going to skip the 5th string just for this version of it, but this is actually a really fun chord to play. So let's fret right here on the 6th string, 3rd fret. Once again, it's our root note G. Skip the 5th string and just do the octave here with the ring finger. Take your middle finger and we're going to put it on the 3rd string, 4th fret. So we get this so far. And now take our pinky and put it on the 2nd string, 5th fret. Sounds kind of like a Beatles chord, doesn't it? That's 36 chords right there. Imagine if somebody said, can you play an F6 chord? Sure. Got the shape right there. Let's go back to G. Like a G6, as they say. All right, what if somebody says, can you play a G7 chord? Well, this is really simple. Let's go back to the major shape. Simply lift up our pinky. Remember, you have to keep the 1st finger barred across. There's your G7. Some people might be wondering what the different intervals are and why it changes to a 7 chord. I explain all that on the website, but for today, I just want you to go through the motions with me, just so you can get through the 132 chords in like 10 minutes. Okay, we're up to 48 chords. Isn't that nuts? So once again, we have major, minor, the 6th chord. I always think of Huey Lewis in the News. That sound. Go back to the major, lift up the pinky, we have G7. Now stay there because the next chord we're going to do is going to be a G9. All you have to do for the 9 is take your pinky and move it to the 1st string, 5th fret. Once again, kind of a Beatles sound. I'm a huge Beatles fan, so I hear a lot of Beatles songs in these chords. Okay, the next one might give you a little bit of trouble, but it's actually pretty easy once you finally establish your finger position. We're going to do a minor 6 version of this. So all you need to do for this is to fret with the 1st finger once again on the G. And I want you to go with your middle finger down to the 5th string, 5th fret. Then your ring finger on the 4th string, 5th fret. So you get this kind of weird looking power chord. It's really strange. Take your pinky and move to the 2nd string, 5th fret. And then bar your 1st finger flat across. It's kind of difficult. You're going to feel some pressure right here, so make sure you do your finger yoga, the warm-ups we do on the website. Keep that hand real flexible. All right, let's go back to this again. Such a mysterious sounding chord. What about a minor 7 chord? This is a very common one. Let's go back to the major shape. You notice I keep bouncing everything off of that just to give you a good reference point from memory. Okay, let's take off our middle finger, so it's a minor shape. And then all I want you to do is lift up your pinky. There's your minor 7. That's a pretty chord too. You can play it other ways, but for today I really want to keep it as close to that original shape as possible, so we'll just do it like this. Okay, now we do major 7. This is such a great chord. Let's start off with a major once again. Now I typically play it this way, but there's actually a way where you don't have to move very much at all from this shape. It's kind of weird, but I think you can handle it. Let's lift up our pinky. And let's move our middle finger over to the 4th string, 4th fret. And now this might be a little difficult. Can you bar your middle finger by flattening it across to the 3rd string, 4th fret? That might be really difficult. I know when I first started to try to bar my middle finger, there was like a no-go situation. So I would just use 2 fingers like this instead to get the same effect. The next type of chords that this chord chart shows you we're going to skip over, and the next one we're going to go right to the last one and come back. So let's go back to this major shape. All you need to do for this one is to play the 3rd string, 5th fret somehow. So what you can do is you could just lay your pinky across if you want. You get that sound. That's the sus chord. G sus. The holiest chord they call it. G sus. Get it? Now, just like when we tried to bar our middle finger, the pinky could feel really weird barring as well. So instead, what you could do is you could just go like this and use your middle ring and pinky right in a row like that, and then bar. So once again, you might get a little bit of tension right here, so make sure that you're warmed up and you do your stretches like I said. Okay, how does your hand feel so far? We only have 2 left, and I have some really good news. Up until now, we've been going back to this major shape to start us off. It's kind of like the skeleton, and then we just modify it for each chord shape. And that's resulted in 9 different types of chords, so that's no small feat. The last 2, though, I'm going to break the rule a little bit and just show you a quick hack. So if you want to do a diminished or an augmented chord, there's 2 really easy shapes that you can remember. For diminished, just go like this. Everyone loves and knows this shape eventually. The great part of this shape is any one of the notes can be the name of the chord. So when you learn that, a lot of things kind of start to happen for you as far as chord movements. So in this case, I'm just here at the 3rd fret, then the 4th, then the 3rd, then the 4th, as we go across the strings. For augmented, it's almost as easy. It's not as fun, but it's pretty cool. So let's start off on the high string. That'll be our root note right there, G. And I want you to take your other fingers here. So we're going to go ring finger on the 2nd string, 4th fret, middle finger on the 3rd string, 4th fret. So you get this familiar look and shape. And take your pinky and just bring it all the way to the 4th string, 5th fret. So once again, that's another root note. As you play across, you get that "Oh Darling" kind of Beatles sound. Once again, the Beatles. Okay, so once you're able to play all those shapes and then you can move them up and down any of the frets, you can literally say that you can play 132 chords and that you learned it in one lesson. So hopefully you're not nearly as intimidated by this chord chart as you may have been when you first started this lesson. But jump over to the Art of Guitar and learn the ins and outs of these chords. And we're also going to do all of the other forms too. So you have a vast knowledge all over the neck, which is a great feeling too. That takes a little bit more time, obviously. But as you can see, you can get a quick jump start on it. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch you at the website. Thank you. Bye-bye.